Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsocketradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
We shall do that. It is time for Coffee Ann on ON, AM, and FM, Wednesday morning, August 28th. Thanks for joining us. My name is Joe Callahan. We'll say good morning to Tim Draper, sitting right over there. Hi, Tim.
Hi, Joe.
Right
Hi,
behind
Melissa.
the Navigate
Hi, Tim.
Credit Union sign.
Yay.
And Melissa Smith is here. Hi, Melissa.
Good morning.
All right, we're going to get into Melissa's day in just
Right off the bat.
Right off
No
the bat.
chatter, no
But
talk,
right
right into
first,
Does anybody ever call in and complain about Melissa talking too much about her personal
No,
life on
nobody.
the air? I'm
No,
just
no,
wondering because I feel like there is a
No, not
gives
at
a
all.
human
element of.
Human element to the show.
That's right. It
Oh,
makes
you're
you-
so
it
kind.
makes you,
I'm not sure others feel the same
personable.
way,
Oh, yeah.
but maybe we should allow you to call in and tell me whether I should shut up or continue.
Melissa, nobody cares. But they do care about this. We got to get a first message from the St. Antoine community.
And that is truly why I'm here. Let's be honest. So yes, I wanted to share a little bit about our new memory care assisted living unit. You've heard me talk about it on the air. It's called Primrose Lane at St. Antoine Community. We grew our memory care assisted living unit from an 8-resident space to a 24-resident space to meet the need in Northern Rhode Island. And we are accepting applications. We've officially fulfilled one full wing of this unit, which was our ultimate goal, staff it and move folks in and iron out kinks. And now we're getting ready to open up the second wing. So if you are interested in learning more about memory care assisted living and all of the amenities and services provided in that space, be sure to reach out to me at 401-767-3500, or you can also email me at msmith@santantoine.net. And I will add quickly, I am offering until further notice Tuesday through Friday from 1 to 3 walk-in tours. So if you're in the area and you're just curious and you don't want to call me, just pop by. So 10 Rose Avenue from 1 to 3, Tuesdays through Fridays. Thank you.
All right, and I would have to say they will not rush you through the tour since Melissa's still got her boot on. It's a slow walking tour.
It is a nice
It
meandering
is a
pace.
oh my God, that is an excellent slogan. I need to modify my materials.
It's a slow walking
It will
a
not be a
slow
quick
walking
pop-in tour. It will not be. What could be maybe achieved in a 20-minute span will probably be ultimately a solid 30 minutes. And I have long legs.
That's
Follow the woman in the boot.
but that extra 50 pounds you're lugging around is going to slow things down. All right, we just talked about it because today, and for a lot of communities, today's the first day of school, and it was for your
Yeah.
kids.
Yep.
So you got a senior now and a
I have
sophomore?
a senior and a freshman.
Oh, freshman. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
yeah. So two spectrums. I've got one who, for the love of God, the last few days have been senior sunrises, tie-dye parties, painting of jeans, all the things.
All right.
Build up, let's call it build up, that I swear to God we already have senioritis. And I had to have this
You're 9 months away from that.
I had to have this calm down moment last
Yeah.
night of, it's a marathon,
Yes.
and reality is going to hit you very hard tomorrow when you go into school. I think a lot of seniors, like my kid, who are in a lot of like honors classes, APs, things like that, I think junior year was absolutely the hardest year, and they hear it
They
from
tell you
everybody.
that, yeah.
So I think she's going in a little too
Oh, we're going to coast?
confident that
Yeah.
we had to hit the
Uh-oh.
brakes last night and have a
Okay.
little moment and slow things down a bit. But yeah, so I have that spectrum in my house. And then the absolute other spectrum is I'm a freshman and I don't know where I'm going and I don't know this and I don't know that and who am I going to sit with at lunch and who am I and like all the questions pouring out of her for the last 24 hours. And the advantage for a freshman going to school with their senior sibling is you have like a built-in friend.
Oh, I
You
gotta
have
tell
a
ya.
built-in tour guide. You have a built-in like network. Even their friends are your friends, right?
Yep. Okay.
And you're going to be perceived maybe as a little bit of a cool kid. My sister was a senior when I was a freshman, and it was nice to just fall under the wings
Yeah.
of your older sibling,
It
as
is-
long as you get along. I mean,
Right.
unless you completely have a terrible relationship.
When my kids were at Cumberland, when Rebecca was a senior, Alex was a freshman, and Alex was a quiet kid, kind of shy. Didn't we got him into a lot of things, but he wasn't. I would classify him as the popular kid. Rebecca, on the other hand, was social butterfly. She was out doing everything. She was, like you said, good student, participated in sports. So when Alex went, he really had the luxury of her saying, "Come on, Alex, you're going out for the swim team."
Yeah.
I don't want to go out for the swim
Wow.
team. Well, you're going. Come on, let's go.
Right.
Yeah.
And kind of dragged him along. And by his senior year, he was so confident in himself. It was great. It was,
Oh,
it was
that's-
fun to
Yeah.
watch. So there's that. You're right. There's that. If they get along,
They have that little
there's going to
advantage.
have that leg up.
I think I shared with you maybe a little bit about summer sports and having mixed emotions about how much saturation of high school sports now takes place in the summer. And I'm not talking about travel competitive leagues or AAU or things of that nature. The high school varsity programs doing like summer basketball or summer volleyball or summer whatever. I have a completely different opinion on it now because I think having a freshman who is like generally a little bit more anxious and nervous, Nellie, it was awful trying to get her to show up to some of those senior practices this summer. But, you know, you can see the big picture as a parent and you know
Yeah.
the importance of it. It definitely was a bargaining chip. You know, the fact that going to school today, you're going to know people. You've already had practices and games with them. She fortunately made the volleyball team, so that was big news in our house. And I'm like, it's all those things. You're just latching as a parent to any little bit you can throw
Right.
at them. But yes, today was my day of departure with them. And then my you guys like to laugh at me in the parking lot because sometimes I come in here
Flailing
lying
me
in
out.
with my arms, and I do my sometimes weekly therapy session with my sister
Oh,
who
that's
has
fun.
a
Nothing wrong
high
with
school
that.
senior. I mean, I'm sorry, a high school junior, and then a kid in college, and then we have aging parents in the community. So we got lots of things every Wednesday morning to talk about. But her son started yesterday, and his junior year did not start off great. So
Oh,
we
no.
were on, we were really
commiserating.
unloading. So
Yeah.
that's why I came in extra hot this morning.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
just remind your daughter. You're still going to pass all your classes this year.
have
There's
to
still
pass them all.
there's going to be
Right.
tests, and
Right.
quizzes, and projects to do,
Yep.
and
Yep.
still SATs you got to take again.
And some colleges, not all of them, but
Not-
some of them will look at the last quarter.
Yeah.
Yep.
And,
That's
and
right.
Oh,
so
we
there's-
we put it all out there. I'm like, there is no hitting the brakes until at least March.
Right.
Like that is not happening. And she will lock in. There's not a question in my mind. She just is flying a little
yeah.
little
Right.
higher than normal with all the activities that the
remember-
last few days brought.
Remember when she does get her college acceptance letters, they all say contingent on you graduating.
Yes, that's true.
Yes, they
Got to
do.
That's
pass
true. You've
everything.
gotta- you gotta
so
pass.
Keep that in the back of your head.
Can I talk about one other quick thing, Joe?
Yeah.
Melissa, when you mentioned
College loans. No.
well,
You're
yeah,
gonna
that's
do
we
your
can talk
next
about.
messages.
That's a whole show. When you talked about how sports seem to creep into the summer,
Yep.
did you watch any of the Little League World Series?
You know,
Just the
normally
final game.
yes, and I didn't. I didn't
Well, I'll
this
tell you,
weekend.
it was fun. It's always I like
Yeah.
I like to watch the tournament. I don't watch the whole thing. I'm not religious about
Yeah.
it, but I love to watch it because, you know, ever since the Dave Belial
Oh,
speech,
gosh, yes.
the whole run with those Cumberland kids, I mean, it really kind of got me all excited about that whole level of
Mm-hmm.
base. But we're sitting there thinking, these kids got to go to school like the next day, and the kids from
Yeah.
Chinese Taipei, I mean, they're on the other side of the world. When do they go to school? What's
Right.
that whole thing look
They had
like?
like a 22-hour flight. to
Yeah.
get home.
Oh, my
And I'm thinking,
gosh.
oh, these poor parents. I can remember sitting there some summers, painfully getting through some of the
Yeah.
games, going, I really hope they don't win. It's kind of
But
a
you just want a day or two as a
That's what I'm
family.
yeah,
to
just
kinda
let's go on
come home and-
vacation. Or
Yeah.
But they
Yeah.
spent the whole summer
The
doing
whole
Little
summer.
League, right? And the way the American kids won that, the kids from Florida won it was just an unbelievable. That is
I
just.
didn't see
Yeah.
it,
It's
and
so
I
sad.
normally do.
Did you hear about it?
I did not. No, this is all news to me because
So-
I missed it this weekend.
The kids from Florida were losing, like big time, to Chinese Taipei.
Oh, it wasn't big. They were
Well,
losing one to nothing.
they were losing. That's big in those games. So they.
Joe's like, that was
Not
nothing.
big.
A little dramatic, Tim.
All right, so let's add some. Let's embellish the story a little bit. So they were getting killed and murdered.
1-0.
1-0, and they tied it up in the sixth inning.
Bottom of the sixth.
Bottom of the sixth, and then they played the seventh inning, no score. They played the eighth inning, and then the eighth inning, like in baseball, they start a runner at second base.
Oh.
And Chinese Taipei was the first up, so they put their runner on second base. Florida stopped them. They didn't get a score. Florida gets up. They put their runner on second base. The first batter bunts the ball.
Okay.
The pitcher runs to get the ball, so does the first baseman. The second baseman doesn't cover first base.
Oh no.
The catcher grabs the ball and
No, the pitcher,
Oh, the
Kenny.
pitcher,
Pitcher grabbed the ball.
and hums it to first base. Nobody
No
on
one's
first
there.
base. The ball goes rolling to the outfield. The
God.
kid from second goes zing, home plate, and they won.
And that's how they won.
I
It was-
feel so bad for
I know
the
for-
other team.
The
That's
Chinese
awful.
Taipei kids were just like, I think they were shocked.
Oh, they
didn't
were
know-
shocked.
and
I
they were
can't believe what
crying.
happened.
And the coach, the other team was very good. They started celebrating, and then you could see them put the brakes on celebrating,
Right.
Because they could see that those other kids were really not doing so well. And then they all went over, and they were all like hugging them, and like, this is a great game. And thank you very much. And the sportsmanship at that level was really was good
great.
because it's not always that good, but it was
Yeah.
really good in that game, and I was impressed with the way
Well,
that.
so last year when Smithfield made it to how far did they make it? Because I had I know we talked a lot about it on the air. I had friends who have friends from my childhood who
They
have
were
kids
like
on
they were
that
like
team.
3 games out or 4
They were like 3 games out. Even that, like they were only done a couple days before school started. However, it fell last year and with the town of Smithfield. But I mean, those kids walked with a little swagger into their school year. You know
Yeah,
what I
that's-
mean? And you think
We're the
about
best.
that,
Fine.
and
You gotta, as a parent,
You
you
gotta
want to
acclimate.
try to get them to, hey, listen, back down a little bit. You know,
Yup.
you're,
So, as
you're
much
not
as-
that in a bag of chips. You know what I mean?
It's tough when you win the Little League World Series. You are all that in a bag.
Well,
of chips.
that's true. Those kids in Florida certainly have a lot.
I
I mean,
am,
any kid that makes it to that level certainly has a lot to brag about.
Yeah.
100%.
So good, yeah, good for them.
Often it's important
I'm so
to
sorry.
learn
I'm so
humility.
sorry I missed it, honestly, because we normally do in our house. I'm not sure what the heck happened this weekend. Whirlwind. Don't know.
Whirlwind,
But
right. You had kids getting ready to go to high school.
missed it.
Well, good luck to your kids and their, especially the senior.
I'm sure
And,
more stories
that's
to
great.
come.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Can't
call,
wait. This is
call
gonna
in
be
right
great.
now if
Wednesday
you want me
mornings,
to
there should
shut
be a
up and
segment.
I won't share anything else, or if you'd like me to continue on.
School update.
So fortunately, your kids probably don't listen to the radio show, so that's a good thing. So
I
you can
know.
share. We're gonna have the
I
Melissa
know.
moments.
I know. We have jokingly said on the air, though, one of my favorite things about being with this group, who I don't know if we would ever brush shoulders with normally, you know, if we weren't together for this panel, but
We're not in the same. Yeah.
we all sort of provide like different tiers of parenting.
Yeah.
All right.
You know, you had John for a while. Obviously,
Yep.
he's coming from like even a grandfather's perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Although
Yep.
you're a grandfather
Now.
now,
I
but
wa-
your kids
not
are
when
a
I
little
started,
bit
right.
younger. You know, Joe, yours a smidge above mine, so
Yep.
we kind of cover a lot of ground
Yeah.
with how much things have changed.
It's like a parental therapy show.
I've stopped parenting now.
Um,
My-
18
I'm-
years old.
I'm
She's
done.
on. You're
Does
on
it
your
feel
own.
good?
Oh, it's great.
Did she start school yet, by the way?
No, not yet. We move her in Friday.
Oh, boy.
And she starts the Wednesday after Labor Day, like you're supposed to.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
Would you
that's
say
the way
30
it is
minutes
school.
from your house? It's not.
About 30 minutes.
30 minutes? Yeah,
so
that's a
so
decent distance.
I kept telling that to my wife. You know, if she forgets her toothbrush or her
Yeah.
hair dryer, we'll just drive it down to her.
Yeah.
it's not that far to get to.
Right.
It's not a big deal.
That's what it
So,
was in Worcester.
All right. Let's see other things going on out there in the news world. We had a death in North Smithfield. Unfortunately, last Sunday, a man from Burrillville was in a car accident, single car crash, on Sunday at 535 Douglas Pike at
Yep.
1:07 in the morning. And the old cliche,
trying to
nothing
think
good happens after midnight.
Right. Where's
And this is
537's out towards Barville?
535.
Yeah, so he was
They said
obviously
it was,
going home.
Dave said it was Route 7. So it's
There
that,
were a
it's that
lot
part of it.
of accidents
And it-
over the weekend.
right.
A lot of accidents.
And it doesn't say, it's just under investigation. This happened on Sunday, so no word on speed or alcohol or
Yep.
drugs yet.
Did they release that name? Because
So-
I didn't think they
Yes.
had released. They did.
32-year-old Jamie Shear, Scheer of Burrillville, was taking a landmark where he was pronounced dead.
Yeah. I
there.
know that there was
So-
a 21-year-old boy from North Smithfield too who passed in a motorcycle
right over
accident.
here
That
on the bypass.
that has spread tremendously through our
Yes.
town.
There's
Yeah.
already there's a makeshift memorial
Yep.
Yeah.
on the Truman bypass right now.
There are. They're
That
doing.
was speed, according to
Oh,
one
I'm sure it
traffic
was.
That
You
police.
see
was.
it's those motorcycles, man. Those rice
Yeah.
burners that they call them. They just fly,
And when you're young and you're a
Yeah.
guy,
and you're
Yep.
I'm going as fast as I
as
can.
confident as you can be. at
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Just-
I
have
can-
to
I can
say,
handle
I'm
this.
in Cumberland too. I know when we lived in Cumberland, there was a lot of like up near Nate Whipple Highway and stuff. There's a lot of motorcycle riders. In North Smithfield to Burrillville especially, like just that whole Bronco Highway exchange, there's always motorcycles. And I have to tell you, they're rarely ever wearing helmets. And they're flying and they're weaving. And to me, it's worse sometimes than highway. Because the way the bends of the road work and kind
Yeah.
of going over a hill and then you're turning a corner. It's just, why not wear a helmet? I don't get it. It's
It's not cool, Melissa.
You need to feel the wind,
Wind
through your
blowing in
hair.
from
Well, half
here.
of you
Right.
guys are bald, so
Well, you know
I don't
what's funny?
understand
So-
that. Like,
I'm gonna go back just one second. When we were in Europe, they were saying, because everybody was riding bicycles, everybody on the planet was riding bicycles. They said that you can tell the American riders from the European
No
riders.
helmets.
No, the American riders have helmets. The
Oh.
European riders do not.
Oh, it's the other way around.
Yeah, because they in their argument is they teach kids to ride bikes from like the time they start walking.
Okay.
And so there's always a
Put a
level
helmet
of
on
safety and concern, and they're very good bike riders, and they understand what they have to do and how to ride a bike. Whereas Americans are taught you should wear a helmet because you're gonna
Yeah.
fall over the handlebars of your bike and smash your head open, so you need a helmet. So
we go to the
It's interesting.
extreme.
We
The
go to
way
the
that
extreme
you just
American.
outlined it. You're
Shocking.
going to hit the brakes and you're going to go over your handlebars and you're going to smack your head open.
Well, you know.
That's what we tell our kids. It's like-
All right, we got to take our first break here on the Coffee and program. More is coming your way. And let's get a second message from the St. Antoine communities, please.
Full
Melissa.
disclosure, I wasn't even thinking about what to talk about. So
All right.
I think what I will latch to is just an announcement to families, because I'll be putting up a post in a little bit on our social media page, is we have Family Fun Day coming up. So if you are a family member of a loved one that lives at St. Antoine Community, whether it's assisted living, even in the rehab, long-term care, whatever level of care in our full continuum of care, we're having a Family Fun Day coming up on Grandparents' Day, which is Sunday, September 9th, I think. 8th, 9th?
Yeah, 9th.
8th, 9th. I don't have my calendar in front of me. That's Sunday, Grandparents' Day. From 1 to 3 on the property of St. Antoine Community on the John St. Zephyr walking path, there will be arts and crafts, family
September
the 8th. Okay, September 8th. Family portraits, free ice cream, water, bring your picnic chairs, whatever. We're going to be hanging out for the afternoon, listening to some good music, and hopefully the weather cooperates, because last year it did not. So we're taking another stab at it. But I'll just emphasize, this is one of the many things that we do at St. Antoine Community for our family, for our staff, for our residents, just to make them feel like they're part of something bigger. And so if you're interested in that feeling and being a part of a big community, reach out to me at 401-767-3500. I'll tell you all about our services.
Very good, Melissa. And more coming your way. Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240.
For an Allstate agent, providing protection options that fit your life is something they take, well, personally. Allstate agents are committed to learning about your needs and helping customize protection to meet them. From bundling your home and auto insurance with ease to evaluating optional coverage, your Allstate agent can help build an insurance proposal that fits your life. And just as important as learning what you need is learning what you don't. Because helping you get coverage you want with savings you deserve is what Allstate is all about. It's time to get coverage that's catered to you. Are you in good hands? Call Kara and Celeste Benjamin at the Benjamin Agency. One agency, 2 locations in North Smithfield and Bellingham. One telephone number, 765-5000. Subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Allstate Property and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Integrity, trust, service. 3 words that sum up what you can expect from the Carew Investment Group at 2190 Mendon Road in Cumberland, Rhode Island. Established in 1987, we've been helping local investors to build wealth and guide them through their golden years of retirement using quality stocks of companies that you know, many of which pay quarterly dividends. We also use investment-grade bonds and low-cost exchange-traded funds. To find out more about our services and for a quality conservative approach to investing, call us at 765-8880. Integrity, trust, service. The Carew Investment Group. Securities offered through Bolton Global Capital, member FINRA and SIPC, and advisory services offered through Bolton Global Asset Management, a registered investment advisor.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON, AM, and FM.
All right, it is Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan here with Melissa Smith and Tim Draper. And I wanted to ask Tim this question because everybody in the world, except for me, seemed to be at the Kenny Chesney concert.
I know.
And in Foxborough, because I saw a ton of pictures online from this person went and that person went and this person went and Tim went.
That's because the tickets were reasonable.
Oh,
think
not the
so?
ones I bought.
Oh, really?
But that's okay. I'm not even going to talk about it. But they were the show.
Which show do you go to?
I went to the Friday night show.
He was there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday last weekend. Okay.
So Saturday night was sold out. We didn't go to Saturday night.
Yeah.
And Sunday I didn't want to have to go to work the next day because the show was the same day.
Okay.
But he sold out all three shows.
Yeah.
Right. And I will. It was a fun show. There were 4 groups. So it was
4 acts. Yeah.
Uncle Cracker, who really only had one song.
Yep.
This girl by the name of Megan Maroney, who is sort of a
Big
new
fan.
up-and-comer.
Yep.
Zach Brown, who is 100% my favorite of all.
They do they do a Devil in Donna, Georgia.
They did. Oh, it was so good.
Fast he plays
it's incredible.
The fiddle on that.
And then we had Kenny Chesney cap the night off, and I will tell you now, Kenny's 56.
Yep.
The guy is ripped.
Isn't he?
He is ripped.
Not a
And
hair in his
good-
head, but
right,
he is
right.
ripped.
And
Well, this is why.
and He spent 2.5 hours running
Yep.
from one side of Gillette Stadium to
Yeah.
the other,
100%.
and just kept going back and forth, sweating like you can't imagine.
Yeah.
And they just had but he has so much fun, and
Yep.
there's just so much energy in the show. And I recognized a few of his songs. I'm not a
Okay.
huge Kenny Chesney fan. I went for Zach because I
Which is what a lot of people did. Yeah.
right. And by the way, just side note,
Mm-hmm.
I heard Zach Brown Band is highlighting
Yes.
the Midnight
PC.
Madness PC on
No
on
kidding.
They are.
October 18th, I think it is.
Wow.
And I'm in New Hampshire that weekend.
I wonder
Nah.
what they're
Are you
paying.
kidding me?
I wonder what they're paying.
Oh, I know.
them. That is not out of the kindness of Zach Brown's
Brown's
heart.
heart.
God, no.
That is 100%.
Right.
Wow,
But
that's
what
amazing.
first of all, I don't know how they're going to do it. It seems kind of weird. It's a Midnight Madness basketball game, but we're going to have Zach Brown there too. So
It's got to be at the amp.
it's at the amp. So
Yeah.
I'm wondering if they have the basketball court and then they just set the stage up on that
Yeah.
half.
I have no
behind
idea.
Anyway, it
Wow.
sounds like it's going to be a phenomenal show.
You don't
Tickets
even
are about
have to
$100
be a country fan to enjoy
No.
Country Fest at Gillette. And
Yeah.
you've heard me talk about I hate the parking situation at
Right,
Gillette.
right.
But I saw the Country Fest the last couple summers in a row. We did not go this year, just because we've seen Zach Brown
Yep.
a couple times, and we've seen Kenny a couple times. I saw Kenny. Oh my God, back in the day, 24 years ago.
Really?
With Tim McGraw.
Oh,
All right.
Like we're talking Great Woods era, like
Yeah.
small. No, I think I got tickets off the radio. Like it was one of those. That was like one of the first times I saw them live, and he was opening for Tim McGraw. And now he sells out
Right.
more
Sure.
than Tim McGraw. But last year we saw Country Fest, and Old Dominion was performing,
Oh,
and
okay.
Carly Pierce and a couple others. I have to tell you, I've been a Kenny fan my whole life, most of my life. Old Dominion outshined them,
Really?
him rather, and same thing with Zach Brown. When I saw the lineup, I'm like, oh, more people are going for Zach Brown than
Right.
even Kenny, because by the time you get to the final performance, as energetic as he is,
Yeah.
it doesn't quite have the same energy level as
Right.
all the performers leading up to.
Right.
And I wonder when that's going to change. It was
I
like he's
know.
been headlining this for so many years now.
I know. I just was surprised that it seemed to me it's weird that Zach would be. I look at it as opening for Kenny Chesney, but
Right.
it really isn't. It's four bands.
It's like a
They're
club.
there,
bands,
right?
yeah.
Okay. Now Tim was telling us before we went on the air. How many people would you say were being dragged out of Gillette Stadium?
Oh my God! It was
Just for
insane.
being
We
either
probably saw
stupid
a
or
dozen.
drunk or
We
whatever.
probably
I'm
saw a dozen.
sure. In
But
the
the thing
heat
is,
and the
yeah, but they're on the floor, so you know those tickets are like $1,000 a piece. They're big money tickets to be on the floor, and then to just get wasted and be dragged out of there by the rescue or the police or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like, well, you just
You
threw
have
that
people
money
who
away.
don't know how to be in a parking lot for a few hours before
Right.
a show, hydrate.
Right.
And
Instead,
they're hydrating with
they're
the wrong
hydrating.
beverages.
I blame
Pounding.
the seltzers. I blame the high noons of
Yep.
the world. Everyone thinks, oh, they're seltzer
Soda.
waters
Right.
and
So it's
vodka. Like I'm
okay.
hydrating while I'm drinking. No,
Right.
you're
No,
still
you're
being
not.
stupid.
Yeah.
Right.
And I blame all of that.
Right. Well,
So-
so we went with my brother and sister-in-law, and I got a call in the afternoon like, "Hey, can we bring your pickup truck?" I'm like, "Hey, that's perfect. We'll be tailgating, and I have a tailgate, so let's do that." And so we brought the truck in. We set the little chairs up out there and put all the food on the
best.
tailgate. Now it was in the burning hot sun, so everything melted, but other than that, it was fine.
No, but that sums up New England. I think that's probably one of my favorite things in the summer is outdoor concerts.
But I'm
I
just,
love it in the summer.
I was, I'd seen Jimmy Buffett at Gillette, which was a great concert, but I saw it from the 300 level nosebleed seats, so you didn't really see much. But this one was great. I was in one of the end zones underneath the new scoreboard, which by the way is
Right.
massive.
It's
huge, yeah.
massive.
Oh my God. And they did a very good job with the cameras and the big screens, and the sound was pretty good.
Yep.
I understood all of what Zach sang. Had a little trouble sometimes with what Kenny was singing because he sings so fast, and what they're saying because when they get the echo on, it's hard to. What is he saying? But he had fun.
That could just be your age.
Ouch.
That might be where you're
Well,
at. No, I'm finding
very,
the same thing.
You're probably very right. But then there was one part where Megan Maroney, he invites his bands to come on and sing with him. Zach did not do it on Friday night, which kind of disappointed me a little bit. But he had Uncle Cracker come out and sing with him, and then Megan Maroney came out, and Kenny has a song called "You Make My Tractor Look Sexy," which you know
It's one
obviously.
of my favorites.
Megan Maroney comes out. She's wearing a Kenny Chesney T-shirt, which apparently she got from his van, or his bus. His hat, jeans,
The boots.
the boots, riding a Power Wheels John Deere tractor.
Awesome.
To the song "You Make My
Awesome.
Tractor Look Sexy," and Kenny had no idea that it was going to happen, so he is on the ground laughing at the
Yeah.
whole thing, and she's just driving in there singing the song. It's the funniest thing.
Oh, so you weren't there. So Saturday night, T Swizzle was in the house. From what
I
I,
heard,
understand, she had
yeah.
a box up
Yep.
top. And so she and
Well, 'cause
Kenny
they're
are
all in
like very
Westerly.
close
Yeah.
friends. Yeah.
You mean Taylor Swift, right?
T Swizzle.
I think we know who T Swizzle
Yeah,
is
but
by
I-
now.
I
Even the
don't.
audience knows. I mean, we've educated.
That's because she was down in Westerly hanging out in
With
her
all her
house
friends, right.
with the Kansas City Chiefs that were all basically
They actually talked about that a lot on the news, even the national news, that she
Yeah.
was in Rhode Island.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Well, taking a break from the tour. So.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right.
Oh,
Well, I'm glad
boy.
you had a good time.
Oh, it was
and,
fun.
and nothing bad happened to you.
No.
There were a couple of incidents that
No,
happened.
we stayed late.
I was
late-
leaving the parking lot for you.
Well, we had my brother-in-law bought some parking passes,
Yeah.
so we were up at Rainier Bass Pro Shop,
Okay.
and so we were in that lot. And once we
that's a long
we
walk.
left, the Lafayette Lodge is longer. That's where we used to
that's
park
true,
for the
that's true.
Patriots.
Okay.
So we just kind of sat in the parking lot. We reopened all the stuff.
Yep. Just hung out there
Yep, had some more snacks before we left. Watched the crowds kind of get out of there, and then we left
and then
pretty
left.
quick.
Yeah. No, that's kind
Saturday
of what
night
we've
was that
accustomed
night
to.
of the
You have to
accident.
accept that you're just going to be there a while. So why
Right.
not just surrender and
Right.
yeah.
And so and
Saturday night was that accident
and,
where they
yeah, and
Which was-
and no one peed on you.
no
Oh
nobody
my God.
Did you hear about
I
that?
nobody
heard
peed
that.
nobody peed on me.
I said there's being drunk, and then there's being ridiculously drunk,
Obnoxiously
and you are
drunk, right.
ridiculously drunk if that's what
And
if
you're
that's
an
what you're doing,
officer, Like,
and you're a cop,
Right.
Yeah, which is just
I just
the
want to know
worst.
how that whole thing took place. That's all I wanted. Did he think he was in a bathroom
No,
or something?
you know what I think happened?
tell us.
I brought it yesterday. I go, everyone is looking that way
Yeah.
at the stage. No one's going to notice what I'm doing, and I can't get out of wherever I am. Because he said he was in some sand pit or something like that.
Oh,
Okay, so if everyone's watching the entertainment,
Yep.
I'll do this as quietly
discreetly
as,
as I
discreetly
can.
as quietly as possible. And he probably could have got away with it, except he hit the woman in her
Oh.
leg
I
In
didn't
her
hear
in
that.
her $180 boots.
boots.
You didn't hear that part?
No, I
That was
didn't
just-
hear
that-
the
that's just a
terms
theory.
of this, like where he was when it
Yes,
happened.
that-
I guess
yeah.
I thought in my head it was like in the
Like in the
parking
stands.
It was a
lot.
Oh,
challenge
no,
or
no.
a dare. or
Yeah,
something.
like it was something. I thought maybe.
It was in the show.
Oh
And
God.
so they alerted security, who alerted the police, who came and arrested him. And I mentioned this yesterday. Imagine being the police chief down in Cranston.
Oh.
How embarrassing.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you do?
You're making us look like idiots.
Right. That guy's going to pay a little bit of a price,
Yeah.
I think.
So
He's not
all
going
right.
to get fired
But
for
I'm-
it, but he's going to get a
no,
little bit of a
he
price.
shouldn't. All right, we'll suspend you for a
Oh,
month or whatever.
Yeah.
But, just kind of silly.
It's kind of silly.
So amazing that these people in where did they steal it? They stole a Ferrari in
Oh.
Rhode Island,
I know.
and they made it to Florida. How about that?
No, Ferrari's fast. They can get there pretty quick.
Well, that's the problem. The cruisers, the state police in Rhode Island are chasing them down 95, and they go over the straight line. Now they're in Connecticut, and they lost it. They lost the car.
Yeah.
They said, "Okay,
How do
we
you
let
lose?
it go."
How do you lose? I mean,
but
there's got to
that-
be cops all the way down the East Coast on 95.
Well,
There are
think
not that many
that's-
Ferraris on the road, are there? Either.
well, yeah.
right?
No, right.
Thinking like,
And these are just
I-
kids, by the way.
all I can-
A 20-year-old kid and an 18-year-old kid
All I can picture is Buford T. Justice running down the road trying to find the trying to catch up with the bandit.
trying to find the transit.
oh, wait, a minute, can you say again their ages were? Would you say 18 and 20?
Yes,
This is a memory marker for these kids. This is gonna be like they'll get caught at some point,
they've
right?
already been. They've already
oh,
been
they did
caught.
get caught.
In Florida.
One was arrested in Florida.
Yeah.
One was
so
arrested
they might
back
do
in
like
Rhode
a
Island.
few
Yeah.
months. That's
Yeah.
that's gonna be their legend story.
But you would think, okay, I'm going to assume there's a license plate on it. Okay, APB.
Yeah.
Look,
Right.
look
Look for the
this
red
no,
color
Ferrari flying down
that's
95.
where I was coming
With
from
the
with
Rhode
my.
I-
There's not that many Ferraris on the road because if
with
you
the
have
Rhode
that
Island
out,
plates,
it's
and these are the plates. But Connecticut, New York, New Jersey,
Yep.
Well, you-
Pennsylvania, all the way to Florida. You made it all the way to Florida.
Maybe they had an ounce of brightness and changed the plate. But then again, if you saw a Ferrari, you would run the plate because everybody's
Yeah.
saying there's a Ferrari because there's not a lot of Ferraris. On
Or
the road, you're right.
Were they thinking
Or
that
did they
far
do it?
ahead?
Or did they do it late at night? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And they say,
So-
well,
so
let's put the car in a truck.
Right.
And we'll
So, and it
hide
may have
it
been a different
somehow?
news
I
story.
don't know.
I caught half this news story last night, so it may have been a different one. But did the guy who owned the Ferrari say that he felt like when it was a home invasion?
It was a armed home invasion.
Yeah,
too.
that they knew where the keys were and they got the keys for the car and then stole the car. So I'm just wondering if
Inside job. Eh?
it's like
maybe, or at least
somebody
they
knew
knew.
somebody. Yeah,
That's like the crash that killed the boy.
yeah.
You know,
Key fob was in the car.
That's right. Your public service announcement for you, Melissa.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Vermont couple.
Yeah.
The wife said, well, they check the bags and stuff like
Right.
that. All right, I'm just gonna leave everything in the car because I don't want to carry everything. So she left her keys. You basically left the keys in the car.
Right.
For them to steal. I said, you got to bring your keys with you.
Right. How does the
give,
guy
give
know?
it to your husband.
The
Give
guy
it to your
must
guy.
have
Put
been-
it in your pockets.
He must have been looking around in the cars to see if he could find one with a key fob.
or
with a,
what doors are open, what doors have been left open, and then you get just
Well, right, because if the fob is
you-
inside the car, the doors don't lock.
Right.
So
okay, and so you then just push the
You're
button,
pushing the
maybe you
button.
pushed it, you thought you locked it, and it didn't lock.
and it starts. Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah.
take it off.
I'm
There
not
we
gonna
go.
lie with that being. I have a little rental right now, and my husband's car has that option with the fob or whatever. My car did not because it was old.
Old school key.
So I am getting in the habit of just leaving the fob inside the cup holder in the car.
Yeah, they
don't
want you
get
to-
In my
they don't do
garage,
that.
not
Oh, in your
not at
garage,
work.
that's
fine. All right.
No, I know, but this story is making me think.
My mother leaves the keys.
We did
everywhere.
we did get a note 766-1240. It just says charges were dismissed on the policeman that was arrested at Gillette.
Right.
Not quite. One of the charges was dismissed. It was a disorderly conduct.
Yeah.
Oh.
The
charge.
investigation's still going on, right?
That
For the
one,
internal investigation.
Yeah, that one's been dismissed. I don't know about the other
Yeah.
charges.
Huh.
I think the woman wants $180 back to
Right.
pay for the
I'd,
boots.
I'd probably give that woman $250
You know,
bucks and go buy some
this
really
seems
nice
like
ones.
anyway, this was a bad judgment moment where he urinated.
It was.
But I've been at concerts outside where someone has thrown up next to me, and you get a little bit of, I'd like to try. I didn't know that was a thing. Maybe I could charge people if that happens again. Which is
You get sick,
awful.
you should not have been sick.
Yes.
You should not have drunk so much,
Well, right.
right?
I kind of put it on the same level now.
I'll ask you this question because you were just here so soon. Because always at Patriots games, they always want you to use the porta-johns.
Yeah.
But sometimes there's long lines. And
Yeah.
you always saw the guys, and sometimes the women, walking off into the woods
Yeah.
to use trees.
Yep.
But then we're always told you really shouldn't because there are state troopers in the woods.
Right.
Waiting for. Is that still the case?
Well, I'm not proud of this moment, but there's a lot down Route 1 where the tailgating is massive and everybody's there. And there's a row of like trailer boxes, containers.
yeah,
Right.
okay.
So when the bathroom lines are full,
You go
and
behind
it's
the con-
always
go behind the container?
we just literally
You know,
there's
you
a
just
line of
said
guys.
all
behind
this
them.
on the air.
I know.
So now your special spot is now.
Well, there was. Believe me, I wasn't the only one using it. it was pretty popular at the time.
All
I'm
right.
assuming it's
My
still
name
is.
is Bob Draper.
All right. Break time now on Coffee and we'll move away from this subject. And it's time to look at the weather forecast being brought to you by Allstate.
Partly sunny skies and warm, high of 87. A southwest breeze could gust over 30 miles per hour, and there's a slight chance of some precipitation. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 58 and a breeze from the north. Thursday's weather, mostly sunny skies, 73 for a high. Friday, sunshine and 74. Saturday, mostly cloudy skies, high near 78 and a tiny chance of a shower. Saturday night, the showers come in. Leftover showers on Sunday, but still partial sunshine with a high of 79. And on Monday, Labor Day, mostly sunny skies, high near 76. Tuesday, sunshine and 72.
Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street, we have mostly sunny skies and 78 degrees. Some people just know the best rate for you is a rate based on you with Allstate, not one based on anyone else. Visit allstate.com or call for a quote today.
Hi, my name is Brad Azinski, and I currently live in Washington State. Why does a man who lives 3,000 miles away from Woonsocket care about the mayor's race? Because one of the men seeking that job is my uncle, John Ward. Let me tell you about John Ward, not the finance director or city councilman, but the man, and how he changed the course of my life. As a teen, I started getting into serious trouble at school and with the law. I was expelled from Cumberland High School and soon found myself in the DCYF system, but in March of '94, my Uncle John and Aunt Kathy stepped up and took me into their home, despite knowing their two sons would be exposed to their older cousin. John and Kathy helped me get back on track by ensuring I was enrolled at Woonsocket High School, staying out of trouble, and landing my first job washing dishes at Christopher's Restaurant. I'm a proud class of 1996 WHS grad and went on to earn a computer engineering degree. I've since had an extraordinary career where I've traveled the world living in 3 countries outside the US and rose into the executive ranks of Intel and now Samsung. I'm blessed with an incredible career and a family of a wife and 4 children, none of which would have happened without John. He taught me the value of education, hard work, and resiliency. Most importantly, he showed me the value of integrity and doing the right thing. John came into my troubled life and turned me around. Now he looks forward to turning around the city that I call my hometown and all of you call home. I know he can do it because I lived it. My uncle saw that I could do better. Woonsocket can do better too. Please elect John Ward for mayor.
Paid for by friends of John Ward.
Hi, I'm Greg Bell, the host of When Radio Was.
I'm Mortimer. Bill. Is that you under that blindfold? Bill, with this thing on, I can't see who I am. No, I imagine not. Can't you see anything at all under that blindfold? On a clear day, I can see the blindfold. You can? Yeah.
When Radio Was, shows from the past for today's imaginations.
When Radio Was airs Monday through Friday, right here on ON 1240 Radio at 11 a.m. and 11 p.m.
All right, it's Coffee In on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. This is Joe Callahan here with Melissa Smith and Tim Draper from Navigant Credit Union. Tim, time for first message from Navigant.
You know, Joe, I was thinking on the way in this morning about all the fact that why I was thinking this, I'm not sure actually, but we were talking yesterday about the number of checks that people are no longer writing. The fact that checking is more about spending than it is about savings, right?
Mm-hmm.
You wrote a check because that's how you had to pay a bill. Well, you don't have to do that anymore, right? It's all about I'm going to use my debit card. I'm going to Venmo you. I'm going to Zelle you. Whatever it is, there's just no need to write checks anymore. And surprisingly enough, check fraud is still, by the way, just as a PSA, still high on the list of things that are a problem. But Navigant Credit Union has all those things, all those tools that you could use to access your money. Your checking account, anytime, anywhere, any place, and it's debit cards, like I said. It's Venmo if you want to transfer some money to friends. We do that all the time. It's a great way to when you go out to dinner, somebody picks up the check, gets the points on their credit card, and then you Venmo them the money, or you, in our case, pop them the money, or whatever the case might be, electronic transfer. So, all my point is that Navigant Credit Union is. For its size, very well schooled in all of the technologies out there that you could possibly need for all your banking needs. And quite honestly, it's also true on the commercial side of the house as well. So if you have a business and you're looking for those types of services, give us a call, 233-4700. Tell us what you're looking for, and we will put you in touch with the experts.
Thanks, Tim. I did teach my daughter how to write a check.
You know what? You kind of have to in some cases.
Well, it's for her car payment.
Yeah.
It's old school. It's still, the bill comes in the mail.
Yep.
And they say, please write us a check and mail it back to us.
Really? You can't? There's no way to pay it electronically?
I would have to look at it, but I really wanted her to get the experience of how to write out a check.
Right. More importantly, how to write your name in cursive.
I was just going to say that.
They don't teach
They have
that
no
anymore. They don't.
They write in print, and then it comes to signature, and they're like, well, it doesn't look any different than how I wrote my name. I'm like, do it anyways. Or come up with a scribble. Come up with like a thing, a signature scribble.
Figure out how to do it.
Right. Figure out how to do it. But do it consistently so that it looks the same.
That's right. So they're having coyote problems in Middletown. And
welcome.
They're warning people down there, if we catch you feeding the coyotes.
Why would they do that?
I don't know.
Why would you do that?
I don't know. It's a $500 fine if you get caught feeding the coyotes.
Well, how are you going to get caught feeding a coyote?
I don't know. They want you to remove food sources to help make the coyotes go away. But signs will be posted the next month warning residents you can be fined $500 if you're like leaving food out for them. You know, that's for my dog. Well, the coyotes are eating it, so now you're feeding the coyotes. So
right. Don't feed your dog outside. Feed your dog.
We used to have a neighbor in Cumberland. Oh my gosh, loved him. His name was Ron. He was older. He used to feed the wild turkeys. He literally birdseed. He intentionally would see them coming. And this was a habit that built over years. So they had a pattern. They were coming through, and it grew from 4 or 5 turkeys to 2 dozen.
Was he trying to fatten them up for Thanksgiving?
I don't know. We had to call a couple of times to animal control. There was no law against feeding a bird.
Right.
Okay.
So I'm listening to the story, and it just made me think of it. And I just remember being so aggravated because the turkeys started getting aggressive in our neighborhood. Our house at the time was only on 10,000 square foot lots, pretty tight against each other. And you'd go out with the girls in the morning to put them in the car, and you got this flock of birds coming down the street because Ron just fed them. Oh my God. So don't feed wild animals. Let them live in the woods. They're supposed to get food on their own.
Dumbest birds in the world.
They are
turkeys.
God, they really are. And they're ugly, and they're dirty, and they're angry.
And we enjoy them so much on Thanksgiving.
Well, they are tasty.
The same.
And
just
they
not
just
the same.
it's their road and they just wander across and they don't care.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
like,
You can beep at them all you want. They just
that doesn't
indignantly
matter.
look at you and go, I am just.
Noises do nothing for them.
Nothing.
So it's like, oh, okay. All right, over in Massachusetts, it's no longer a crime to carry a switchblade.
Seems to me like that.
Why?
The state's highest court has ruled that carrying a switchblade in Massachusetts is not a crime. The Supreme Judicial Court finds that the 1957 state law banning switchblades violates the Second Amendment right to bear arms. It's been in place since 1957.
Interesting.
What do you need a switchblade for anymore? Like
But-
I
on
don't
you
know.
all the time?
I used to like the switchblade comb.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Oh, the Fonz had one.
The
so
Fonz
you
had
had, you
I
had to
forgot.
have one.
But really,
Well, the court
what
finds
do you do with that?
Court finds that switchblades are common use weapons that can be handled legally by law-abiding citizens. The ruling came in 2020 case where a man was charged with carrying a dangerous weapon after being found with a switchblade.
Well, you put it in your pocket and it's collapsible, so it's smaller than what you would have to take if you were going to take a regular knife. But regular knives aren't illegal, so that's
It
just a
depends on the
knife.
size of the blade. If you're carrying around a six-inch blade,
Yep.
I think it is.
Yeah,
If it's 4 inches or smaller, then it's okay.
it's not. Swiss Army knife.
I don't know why you need
Well,
a.
so I was just going to say that Swiss Army knife, a little different, right? Because that's got all the
Well, it still has a knife on it.
All the
but it's got
options
all
in
the
it,
other
but it's
stuff,
not
too.
any bigger
It has
than,
a
like-
corkscrew, Melissa. That's the most important thing that thing has on it is a corkscrew
it,
and a bottle opener. Those are the two important tools on the Swiss Army knife that the Swiss Army used to love.
Anyway, you.
I totally derailed the show.
I know, but now you had kids that went to Worcester Polytech, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
You want to know what your money went to?
Do I know where my money went to?
You know what they're doing with your money?
All I know is that they gave a lot of free T-shirts away.
Nope. They plan to purchase 2 city hotels.
Oh, WPI?
Yes,
So they've
and turn
already
them into
overbooked
student
them.
housing.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
But now they have to defend it. Yeah, WPI officials say the purchases of the Hampton Inn and the Courtyard by Marriott are in response to
Wow.
long-term student housing shortages.
Well, the issue is there's no room to build anything
Oh, yeah, it's
on
not-
that hill
it's-
anymore. It's not
yeah.
like you can do it. So you got
Worcester's
to
tough.
take.
there aren't a whole lot of hotels in Worcester either. I was just thinking, like, my husband works in athletics. We talked about this,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
they usually those are the 2 hotels that they house like visiting teams at.
Yeah.
But now they're going to be dorms.
Find something else, yeah.
Oh, Lord.
City officials say the impacts are severe, with the possible loss of well over $1 million in tax revenue and around 25% of Worcester's hotel room capacity.
Oh well,
That's a lot.
That's two things
is
to
a
be concerned with,
lot.
right? That's
WPI
that's a
says
big
the
hit.
hotels would remain on the tax rolls for a few years before the transition is complete. So
Wow.
since the school owns them, they don't have to pay taxes on
Well,
it.
the school's a nonprofit, right? I mean,
WPI, I don't know.
I don't think they. It's like Brown. It's like
Yeah.
you're right. You don't pay taxes. You pay, what do they call it? It's a payment in lieu of taxes.
Oh, okay.
PIL, so payment in lieu of PIT or something like that. Payment in lieu of taxes, where they would, like Bryant and everybody says, "Listen, we're
Is
going to
there
give you a couple million bucks."
Academia.
Well, no, it's. I think it's because it's I want to say it's like a nonprofit status. It's some weird status like that.
but aren't they a private school?
They are,
So,
but they're
yeah.
still
But
they're
they're not-
still
but they're
exempt
still-
from taxes.
You think a private school would be a for-profit school?
No, one would think, but that's
Well, yeah.
not the way it works.
I don't know if there's
Wow,
any
alright.
colleges that are for profit.
University of Phoenix. No, I'm serious.
All the online
Grand
schools?
Canyon
Interesting.
University.
So the ones that are
online
online,
schools, the
okay.
big online
Southern New
schools,
Hampshire.
all those
I don't know what
online
Southern New
schools.
Hampshire is.
Southern New Hampshire might actually be a
Because they have a
ground
campus
school.
living.
Okay.
Right. So I know that there's some weird things about that, but that's the whole argument in Providence is that they have all these college campuses that own all this property down there, and they don't pay taxes.
Mm-hmm.
So who supports the fire department, the rescue, the police?
Who are called to the campuses?
Right.
yeah.
The public
They
works.
do. They consume those resources.
They consume the resources, and
Hmm.
so they're saying you guys need to pay us money, and that's the big argument that Brett Smiley's had, and that Alorza had before him, and they've all had it with the colleges. And they say, listen, you guys keep buying up this property and taking these things off our rolls. We don't have any money to cover
Yeah.
our expenses. So the colleges have been at least they've been
Something.
they've been paying a little more
Okay.
than what they normally do. But in WPI's case, that's interesting. That whole area though, down by Worcester, by the Woosocks, right? There's some prime opportunity to
Yeah,
build
there
hotels there if they really wanted to
They're
spend
not-
the money
yeah,
on
but they're
hotels.
not. Yeah, they're not building hotels there.
Right.
And what they want to build is apartments.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all I've
Housing.
seen go
Permanent-
up around there.
permanent
Housing, yeah.
residency.
They'll have businesses on the bottom floor,
Mhm.
and then it's apartments going
Yeah.
up 5 or 6 flights.
Yeah. Well, it's a challenge as the
Mhm.
universities bring new students in. They got to put them somewhere, and if there's no place to build on campus, You know, do you
Right.
look for the next best alternative? and
What's
you,
nearby?
You buy
Right.
a couple of hotels that are already rooms.
All right. Moving on to Boston. Northeastern University is being sued
Yep.
for over $10 million by a family of a student.
Mm-hmm.
Sarah Cox was a junior when she fell 20 feet from a second-floor window at a house in Boston at a sorority party in March of 2023. And the lawsuit claims that Alpha Epsilon Pi sorority and the building's property management were negligent. Her family says Cox has never regained consciousness and needs around-the-clock care on a permanent basis. So she hasn't passed away.
Wow.
Just needs 24-hour care.
That's
But
what
are you
there's-
thinking what I'm thinking? She's at a sorority party. And she fell out a window.
She was drunk.
How drunk were you?
I don't know.
How high were you?
Or
Well, that'll be part of the defense.
what shenanigans were happening? I mean, it could have been a push, could have been a something,
Maybe-
or was
maybe
it
it
a
could have been a
lofted
push.
bed that you?
But is the college really at fault for her falling out of the window?
How
They said
are
that
there
they
not-
didn't. They said that they didn't control the party well enough. That's
Oh,
the
so it
argument.
definitely was a
Oh, well,
party.
yeah, a sorority party. Well, then
Okay.
that would be the sorority.
Because
Then
I didn't think sorority houses could have parties.
I guess every school's different.
Yeah.
Or
in their rules.
They did, and they're not a sanctioned party. They weren't supposed to have a party. Although WPI, I know that the fraternities can have gatherings,
We
which
won't
they
call
sell
it-
tickets
I love-
to.
You
We'll
didn't
have
add your air
um,
quotes
Yeah,
gatherings.
I know I did not.
Should we have a toga gathering?
No.
But I thought, like, at UNH where I went, I just remember the sororities were not allowed to. Even fraternities were not
Right.
allowed to, but they had a different.
Right. I
It
don't
must
think-
have been gathering terminology in
Yeah.
their bylaws. But I am curious about all of this. I didn't even hear the story.
Well, that
which
could
is
be the
very
argument on the
unfortunate.
college is that they didn't enforce their rules.
Well, I'm just wondering from
okay.
the parent. I'm trying to think of the parents suing the school. Does it come from a place of, you know, when your kid signs up for a fraternity or sorority? Now, I wasn't in one, so I really don't know all the logistics. But I'm assuming you're signing a contract, right? You're paying dues and you're all
pay
these
dues,
things, and
yep.
they're residing in that space. And I'm sure there's some verbiage in that contract that you're signing
Well, what's
that talks
interesting is-
about like not engaging in parties or whatever else. So if there was a party in that building where their daughter
then
resides,
then they would be negligent.
I had
Yeah.
I had one. My daughter was in a sorority, and one of my sons, was in a fraternity, and they both had to pay dues. But any contract that was signed, they signed. I don't think we signed it because they were 18 years
18.
old. So I think they did it on their own.
And she's
And-
20, this student.
Yeah. So I mean,
oh, that's a good point, Tim.
Personal responsibility there, but I can understand the families,
But
especially
if
if
she
she's
is
getting care.
unconscious,
Right.
then it becomes like the
they're-
No,
default.
it goes to the
Right.
parents.
parent. Yeah, I don't know.
But you can sue anybody for basically anything.
You can.
Whether or not you win, that's
Right.
a different
How
story.
much money you
so-
want to spend trying to do it?
That's right. So we'll see if they
They'll settle.
just settle out of court for
They'll
something.
settle, and it'll cover her medical expenses, I'm sure.
for a little while
perpetuity.
anyway. All right, we're going to take another break here on Coffee In. It's time for second message, Tim, from Navigant Credit Union.
So I mentioned earlier in my first message a little bit about the check fraud that rises, and so I always like to do these PSAs every week just to remind people that fraud and exploitation, financial exploitation, is out there. The bad guys are always inventing new ways to separate you from your hard-earned money, and we want to just let you know that we're there to help you prevent that from happening. You know, you come into a branch and, you know, you've been asked by somebody that you're not really sure you've talked to before, asking you to withdraw money or transfer money or cash a check or do something, and it just seems a little out of place, and we start asking you questions. That is not because we're looking to invade your privacy and learn all about you. It's because we want to make sure that you're not getting scammed. And more often than not, it's because somebody's getting scammed. And it doesn't have to be, by the way, a bad guy that you've never met. It can also be a family member or a caregiver. That happens frequently too.
That's
So if you feel like, you know, somebody's pressuring you, even in your family, and, you know, you don't want to rat them out, you don't want to be the bad person, just talk to us. Our security team's pretty good at dealing with situations like that in a very delicate manner. So 233-4700 is our phone number. It's the contact center over there in Lincoln and Smithfield, and ask for somebody in the security on the security team just to run something by them and see what they say, and they would be more than happy to assist you in getting out of any jam that you might be in. So we're not asking things because we're nosy. We're asking things because we're trying to protect you. So.
Very good, Tim. Thank you very much. And more of Coffee In is coming up. Please stay tuned.
Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogies with onions and what they call dirty sour cream. Or pick up golubki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported foods. Open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 9 in the morning till 6 p.m., Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays from 8 to 5 p.m. It's Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse. Follow us on Facebook and learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street, Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
And now, to benefit the 2024 Autumn Fest celebration, it's Autumn Fest Comedy Night.
All right, everyone. You know that April showers bring May flowers, but what do Mayflowers bring? Pilgrim!
Well, I can see we're going to have to bring the professionals in on this one. And folks, if you want to see true professional local comedians for a good cause, then come to the Autumn Fest Comedy Fundraiser, Friday, September 6th at the Woonsocket Elks Hall, 380 Social Street, Woonsocket. This is an 18-plus event. Doors open at 5 and the show starts at 6. Light snacks will be available along with a cash bar and lots of yucks. There'll be raffles, silent auctions, and door prizes. Tickets to the Autumn Fest Comedy Fundraiser are $30 per person. Purchase tickets online at this website, funny4funds.com. Bugged Out Barbecue will have their food truck in the parking lot starting at 5 p.m. for your edification. Come on out to the Autumn Fest Comedy Fundraiser, Friday night, September 6th at the Woonsocket Elks Hall, 380 Social Street, Woonsocket. Doors open at 5, and the food starts at 5, too.
And that's right. Autumn Fest Comedy Fundraiser coming up a week from Friday, September 6th at the Elks Hall.
Autumn Fest, Pumpkin Fest, they're all.
Oh, it's all coming.
Are you going to be telling dad jokes there, Dave?
I'm Joe,
Dave,
though.
Joe. You're Joe.
They have no. We got the real comedians.
Oh, you're not allowed to do that. That's unfortunate.
Joe,
What
please.
was the
I'll get the
fundraiser,
hook.
that you guys did where you were bartenders. We went in on that this year.
That was
we wanna be
for
the
that
other
was
side
that
of
was
the
from
counter.
that was from Milk Fund.
Milk
Oh, yeah.
Fund, okay.
And so that was Dave
Right.
and Melissa and me.
Because we can
We're
pour
down
a
at
beer,
Yep,
right?
we can.
And you have a Swiss Army
can-
knife with a bottle opener.
I do.
in
I
it.
can open up a bottle of wine any
we
day.
were down at American Legion Post 85, being celeb bartenders
Right.
down there,
Yeah.
and one of them said, the real bartender is back there because pouring the beers. He goes, Joe, you've done this before. Because I hold the glass at the right angle, and you got to get the right head on the.
Yep.
Here you go. So yeah. So, well, maybe a little. Anyway, but we did that for the. We may be doing that again for the Milk Fund again.
Yeah, let us know
this,
when
this, this
celebrity
coming winter.
celebrity guest bartenders.
That was a lot of fun that night. So, a sad story out of Warwick, and it's one of those, what are you thinking, kind of things. When a 22-year-old man, is arrested on animal cruelty charges, and all they find is a bunch of emaciated dogs down there until they go into his house, and then they find carcasses of other dead dogs, and you go, okay, well, if the dog has died, why are you keeping the carcass? Go in your backyard or whatever.
Mental
Serious
health
issues.
is just
it just drives you crazy.
That's a different level of mental illness right there.
So 5 emaciated dogs had to be taken to the Warwick Animal Shelter.
Yep.
And there were 3 dead dogs inside the house.
Yeah.
Why are you keeping them?
Why? Because he's lonely, and that those are his only friends. And then when they die, he doesn't want to give them up. How's that for a
Was he pulling on Norman Bates? Is he a taxidermist, and he's just going to keep them around?
I don't think taxidermy is in that guy's future. That would require some sort of.
Yeah.
No, that's a special breed of mental health.
Yep.
It is, and it's sad, and you hate hearing about that kind of stuff. All right, other things going on nationwide.
Thank you for bringing it up.
Yeah, thanks for bumming us out, Joe.
Lowe's is pulling back on their diversity, equity, and inclusion policies. Yet another company that is doing this.
Yep.
Let's see. A conservative podcaster by the name of Robbie Starbuck has been pressuring them. And Starbuck said he approached the company last week, and he said he planned to take aim at them over their employee resource groups and donations to Pride events. The home improvement company didn't comment, but did send a memo out to employees Monday that it was reviewing its policies after the 2023 Supreme Court decision to strike down affirmative action in college admissions.
Mm-hmm.
So they're moving on. John Deere, I think, was the first one that said, we're not doing this anymore.
It's interesting to think that's going to have a ripple effect. In what parts of the country will it have the ripple effect in? And Yeah, there's a lot of. We're just at a weird time.
And these protesters down in Florida, they hate pickleball.
Well, I don't know why.
Do you have a pickleball court over at St. Antoine?
No.
Oh, you need one.
No.
You need to increase your business.
I was going to say that would feed our rehab. That would be the strategy, right? I mean,
Put the pickleball court right outside of the rehab.
Yeah,
and then
there
as soon
you
as you
go.
go down, go right into the rehab.
exactly.
Well, some demonstrators in Florida don't want to see pickleball being played at state parks. Governor Ron DeSantis is talking about building the courts at
is he
both.
still governor there?
He is still governor there. Yes.
He did not win the president's race, so he is still there.
They want to build the courts at Honeymoon Island. I don't know where that is. In Hillsborough River State Parks. Protesters don't want it. They say Florida needs to protect its valuable resources. That's what they're worried about. Taking away water. I mean, where are the gators going to live? And that kind
They
of
don't
thing.
have an angst against pickleball. It's more
No,
about,
it's really
like,
you're
pouring
taking away the
cement
land.
and-
Yeah. The state is also talking about a disc golf course at Hillsborough River. Meanwhile, a developer has reportedly pulled plans for a golf course at another state park. So
Actual
there's-
golf course
yeah,
versus
with the grass and everything.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least it's grass and it's open space and it's
Yeah.
not buildings.
Yeah.
It's also recreation.
Yeah.
Which is good for you, but Florida does have a ton of golf courses.
Right. I don't know why they
Need
need
another
another
one?
one. Right.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Because it's it's a 20-minute drive to get to the nearest golf course. But if they build one over here, it's only a
You
10-minute
should go
drive.
to like South Carolina or Myrtle
there you
Beach.
go.
They're like next door to each other.
On with
The golf courses. Oh, yeah. There's tons of them.
Well, they get the better weather, so you
That's
get
true.
a lot more.
That's true. My aunt in Florida lives right on the golf course.
But is
Right on her backyard, hit the 7th hole.
But are they as good courses like Stony Lee and Attleboro?
Good. Did you just use the word "good course" and Stony Lee in
Yeah,
the same sentence?
How about that?
Stony Lee is a fun little course in the spring, but when the summertime rolls around
Yeah.
and they don't have irrigation out there, it can get rather
A little dusty.
dusty, and your ball hits the fairway and just rolls forever. So I could drive a green, which is pretty good.
What about is Fairlawn
Fairlawn
golf
is a
in-
par
in
3.
Lincoln?
It's still going. It
decent?
they have a little place there called Bogies. I think is it Bogies? Yeah, it's Bogies. It's a bar.
Yeah.
That they really built it up. It's kind of nice, and it's fun for, the executive par 3. Go out there, bang around a little bit. They actually have golf carts, which I always
They
found
do?
funny.
It's such a small course.
I know. But
that's
it's
the-
mostly seniors. Not mostly. I shouldn't say that. It's a lot of seniors that play there, and so
Do
they
you use
like
the
the golf
cart when
carts.
you're there, Tim? Let's just. See
I
if you're-
actually haven't played there in a long time.
Okay.
My friend used to be the greenskeeper there.
Oh.
And when they went through some changes at the golf course, he ended up going up to Auburn. He's in Auburn at the golf course where Robert Goddard fired off the first rocket in the U.S. Very interesting. Anyway,
Full of fun facts.
fun facts this morning.
The closest I've ever come to hitting a hole-in-one was at Fairlawn, because it's such a short
Sure, of course.
drive.
It's like
the,
a
the
mini
drive.
golf.
The drive. That's right. The drive is so short on some of the holes, Melissa, that you don't use a 3-wood or 1-wood.
Right.
You get out your not a pitching wedge, but
Yeah,
you get out
you
your
get
7-iron.
7-iron and hit it
and
from
hit
there.
it and hit
Right.
it that way because it's so close. I'm
Right.
like, hey, that's really.
That's an iron course.
I go, that was a,
Right.
and I, it was 2 on that hole. It was the best shot I've ever had. I don't think I've played since.
Yeah.
I go, I can't get any better than this.
But there's still a lot of great little courses around. I mean, Chemawa is a great course over in North Attleboro, and Wentworth Hills up on the Plainville Cumberland line is a great little course. So there's some very good courses around, and I kid around about Stony Lee. Stony Lee's it can be a fun little
It can be.
track.
I see more people on Stony Lee like in November because it's free.
Yeah, right.
Got to get out there and
If they just
we
put-
can
if
still
they
get
could
the
just-
tee in the ground,
Right.
we can
If they
tee
could
off.
put some water out there and water those fairways, that'd actually be a nice little course. It gets some interesting holes.
Border Patrol agents in San Diego arrested a woman trying to cross into the U.S. You know what she was carrying? You would never guess. 54 pounds of dried sea cucumbers.
Dry sea cucumbers?
Yes.
What
She-
is that?
I don't know.
What am I?
I think it's an animal. The 55-year-old was trying to get into the country from Mexico. Sea cucumbers are
Looking that up.
here we go. Sea cucumbers are a restricted species with strict regulations to prevent over harvesting. So
is
I
it a-
don't know what you're harvesting them for.
Is it food?
It must be. It's like,
Like
a
a part of a-
it's like a fish
Yeah.
of some sort, and
Did you find it?
we can't over harvest them.
Melissa's looking it up on the Google.
But on the Google.
The Google.
But yeah, I'm going to assume they were in a car or a vehicle of some sort.
Well, I mean, it's like
54 pounds is heavy.
Well, but still, anything. It's like
So
anything.
it's considered an alternative to tofu.
Is
with
it?
its health
Okay.
Components.
Yeah.
It's like I don't know.
You're not
It's
not
just
very
a sea
not very
creature
pleasing.
looking type thing.
Yeah, it's okay.
but it's loaded with lots of good stuff. So it's got vitamin A, vitamin B1, vitamin B2, vitamin B3.
So it's a
minerals.
delicacy
I
out
guess
there
so.
in,
I'd rather
in
just
Mexico.
pop a
Whatever.
pill.
Right. Give me in my case, give me a Centrum. I'll be fine.
Well,
At that certain age, and Centrum becomes your
I should
vitamin
never
of
have looked
choice.
at it because now I can't get the image out of my mind.
You should
but-
talk to the chefs down there at the
Oh God! Oh,
at
this
Saint
is
Antoine.
showing someone cutting one up. I
Yeah,
can't.
go to the
You
chefs
could-
and say,
you-
"Can you guys use cucumbers?"
Do you cut it up like a regular cucumber?
It looks like a fish being cut up
It's
when
a
they
fish.
showed it on YouTube. I just caught a glimpse of it. Oh, that was bad.
Poor Melissa.
Don't look it up.
Her day's
we-
ruined.
We will
Just
not.
take my word for it.
All right.
Okay.
That'll wrap it up for the Today Show. We thank you very much
The Today Show? This is not the Today Show.
For the Day's
Oh, I
Show.
thought you said
I thought he said the Today Show.
Okay,
I'm
like,
like
so-
we have elevated this
Well,
program.
Thank
We
you,
want to
Boda.
thank Al Roker for being here. All right.
My favorite. Did you see the commercial? I'm sorry, it's a commercial with Al Roker now where he's telling the people on the beach that the weather's going to be horrible and there's a front coming in and you're never going to be. And they're leaving the beach and he's driving in the beach and he looks at the little kid and smiles. and then and the little kid says to the father, "Was that Al Roker?" And Al's sitting on the beach in the umbrella. Nobody else
Nobody
around.
around
He goes, "I can't believe they bought that."
Oh my God.
Are they promoting the Today Show?
No,
What are they promoting?
I think they're promoting. I don't even know what they're promoting.
Wow.
Bad commercial.
Bad commercial. You don't
Can't
know
remember
what the
what they're
product or the
promoting.
services.
Right.
All right.
Probably a car commercial.
All right. Melissa Smith, thanks for coming in.
Good to see you guys.
All right. And good luck getting through the first week of back to school.
I'll be fine. Next week will be a whole different story.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure.
I mean, the daughters will be coming home. Oh, this happened, and then this happened, and this happened. And then
I'll
so-and-so
take
did-
notes
and
between
Melissa's
now and
moments.
next Wednesday.
And so-and-so didn't
Melissa's
talk to me,
moments.
and it was the end of the world. I love girl problems.
I'll send them to your house.
All right.
man.
And Tim Driver, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for having me, Joe. Everybody out there, enjoy the God-given day.
All right. This is Joe Callahan. Have yourself a fantastic day, and stay tuned for Gary Smith and the crew. Do you remember is coming up at 9:30 here on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. The Rhode Island Department of Transportation says crews have begun prep work for the demolition of the Washington Bridge westbound structure. The design-build team began stripping off the asphalt riding surface from the old bridge on Monday, and the process is expected to last around 2 weeks.